You've tuned in to the Top 10 Gardener with garden expert Ken Lane. Join him daily as he answers timely garden questions that are sure to make a difference in your gardens. Now, welcome your host, Ken Lane.
So you're seeing a beautiful perennial or a huge perennial, or real short kind of shrubby kind of thing in the landscapes. It's called red hot poker. Kind of looks like a yucca or a Spanish broom or some of these a dagger. You're looking at it's got this southwesterny kind of foliage to it, but the flowers hover at least knee high above the foliage, and it looks like a red hot poker. It looks like a flower has been, it's got orange and yellow and red all in the same plant. It's beautiful. And animals don't bother that. So they kind of leave it alone. It's a great plant for out in the landscape. It adapts really well to native type drought hardy landscapes. So we put it in there with the red yuccas, which is probably the number one selling of all of them. In fact, I have a new giant red yucca. So red yucca typically only gets about knee high, about the same size or height as a red hot poker. But this one, the new variety, is called giant red yucca. It easily gets up as tall as you and I. I mean, it gets, usually red yucca is like below hip high. It's real low. This one is as big as you are. So it gets really big with the same giant red flower that hovers above this yucca type of foliage. It's quite striking. So if you've got a cinder block yard and you just need something bigger, you don't need little things in front of the cinder block. You want to soften up all this hardscape is what we call it, or the fencing, the decking, the rock yard. These are all hardscapes, fixed things. Softscape are the living, breathing plants part, and they soften up all the hardscape. And there's a blend. You need about 60% softscape to soften up all the hardscape. Otherwise, it feels too hot, too dusty. It feels empty. If you get the plant mixture right, it starts to soften it. You go, oh, this is such a wonderful garden. How did you create this? Oh my God. I just love being out here and sipping wine, watching the sunset, hummingbirds, sipping some coffee in the morning. That's just a pleasant environment. It's a balance of softscape your plants to your hardscapes, all the rest of the things that aren't really living in the yard. Softscape, hardscape. That's just a basic thing they teach you in landscaping, like 101. Okay, there you go. You're now a professional. You need a job? Come talk to me. You're hired. And so this one, the giant yucca, would be perfect against the back where you've got a 6-foot cedar fence and you need to soften that up and draw the eye away from the fence and towards the living, breathing parts of the yard, softscape. A giant red yucca is perfect and easy to grow. In fact, if you kill that thing, it'll be from overwatering, not from underwatering. So abuse it, kick dirt at it, curse at it. It's going to grow. Just don't give it too much water. I'd put it on a drip system and kind of treat it like my other trees and shrubs, maybe once a week. Give it a good drink. Keep the flowers coming up and looking good. So that's kind of how you take care of that. Where else was going with that? Oh my gosh, pruning. Oh yeah, clean up your. I had a red hot poker that was just had the old growth on it, and I have new tender growth coming up through the old growth. It was brown with green. I went, golly, that looks terrible. It's an accent behind my pond. I went down and I ripped off all of the brown foliage. Your grasses, red sedge, things that if you've got brown foliage, they should not be on that plant. Cut those things out of there, and it will encourage the new green growth to come up fresh from that. Never be afraid to summer prune or clean up those perennials. It's okay. It almost prefers it. It'll celebrate. It'll bloom better for you if you do that. So I pulled off the green growth on this red hot poker, and it just looks fair. It doubled in size this week. All I had to do is touch it, feel it, clean it up, and it just wanted to grow. It just wanted to be touched and beautified, and then it just grew better. That's it for this show. So throughout the week, Lisa and I camp out here at Waters Garden Center. We love talking to fans of the show.
There's nothing like tomatoes picked fresh from your garden.
Waters Mountain Tomato Collection are varieties proven to produce and thrive. Heirlooms, beefsteaks, cherries, naturally grown for local success.
Completely organic, never genetically altered, and utterly delicious. They're ready for your garden now.
You can grow your own this spring, and we can help. Waters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Shop Waters in-store or online at watersgardencenter.com. If you want a more fruitful garden, increased success in landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Top 10 Garden Podcast. Years of tips, tricks, and garden shortcuts are guaranteed to make your gardens nicer than ever. Listen to this podcast or read Ken's weekly garden column by visiting watersgardencenter.com. That's Waters with 2 T's, gardencenter.com. Thanks for tuning in.